What happens when 8 million voices suddenly fall silent? When Times Square's neon lights flicker out? When Wall Street is left to the vines? When the most unstoppable city on Earth finally stops? This is New York after humanity, a place where nature returns, skyscrapers crumble, and the concrete empire transforms into a wild living jungle. Stay with me, because what you're about to witness is a version of New York you've never imagined before. For decades, New York defined ambition, power, and constant motion. But remove humans, and the city begins changing in ways that are both haunting and breathtaking. In this story, we step inside a future where Times Square is quiet, Central Park evolves into an ancient forest, skyscrapers decay, and wildlife becomes the new ruler of the city. Welcome to the Silent Cities, New York after humanity. 10 days after humanity disappears, New York finally begins to breathe again. Subway trains freeze in dark tunnels as power grids collapse. Manhattan's streets, once a constant roar, fall into absolute silence. Raccoons sneak into abandoned restaurants. Seagulls claim rooftop billboards, and stray dogs wander across the Brooklyn Bridge. Underground, the biggest transformation begins first. Without pumps, the subway starts to flood, slowly turning into a network of black, silent rivers. Nature doesn't wait, it strikes immediately. 1 month passes, and water pools in Times Square as digital billboards go dark forever. Weeds push through cracks in the concrete. Coyotes cross Fifth Avenue. Foxes hunt freely in Chinatown. Birds nest in luxury penthouses with million-dollar views. The concrete empire is weakening, and every day nature grows bolder. 6 months without people, winter hits New York harder than ever before. Snow piles onto unmaintained rooftops, weighing them down beyond their limits. Pipes burst, glass cracks, steel begins to rust. Central Park, once controlled and manicured, begins returning to its ancient roots. Trees stretch beyond their boundaries. Vines climb traffic lights. Roots break apart sidewalks. The city is no longer a city, it is becoming an ecosystem. 1 year after humanity disappears, the transformation accelerates. The Hudson River swells without flood control. Parts of lower Manhattan sink beneath water. Fish swim over subway entrances. Wildlife takes over the boroughs. Wolves wander down Broadway. Black bears explore Staten Island. Hawks nest on the Empire State Building. New York now belongs to the wild predators that once lost their homes to human expansion. 5 years pass and skyscrapers begin to show fatal wounds. Glass windows fall like rain. Steel frames corrode. The High Line transforms into a suspended rainforest, dripping with moss and thick jungle plants. The city that never slept is now a vast, echoing silence where only wind moves through empty towers. 20 years after humanity, New York is almost unrecognizable. Forests of maple, oak, and birch swallow entire blocks. Streets disappear beneath layers of green. Wild horses gallop freely through Queens. The Statue of Liberty stands weathered and wrapped in creeping plants, its once bright torch now lost in the vines. Nature is not just reclaiming New York, it is erasing it. 50 years into this future, the skyline begins collapsing. Without human maintenance, skyscrapers cannot stand forever. The tallest buildings fall one by one, creating massive canyons of rubble. Times Square becomes a moss-covered valley. The Brooklyn Bridge, strangled by vines, finally snaps and falls into the East River. The busiest city on the planet is now a silent, crumbling kingdom of plants. 100 years after humanity vanished, New York has transformed into a massive forest. Towering trees stand where taxis once honked. Deer run through Wall Street. The stock exchange lies buried beneath soil and roots. Nature has reclaimed the land it lost, reshaping Manhattan into a wild ecosystem. Only fragments of skyscrapers stick out like broken teeth under the green canopy. 300 years pass, and New York's ruins resemble ancient temples swallowed by time. Central Park merges with the rest of Manhattan into one continuous wilderness. The last pieces of the Empire State Building collapse. Only stone foundations remain. No one remembers New York, but nature does, and it thrives without us. 1,000 years after humanity, storms, earthquakes, and rising seas reshape the land. Manhattan becomes a lush archipelago, with rivers flowing through what were once streets. New species dominate. Endangered animals flourish. New York becomes a prehistoric jungle, built on the skeleton of a modern empire. Human traces fade into the earth. This is New York after humanity. Haunting, powerful, and strangely beautiful. Not a story of destruction, but a reminder that nature always wins. Cities rise and cities fall, but the earth keeps moving forward. If you want more journeys into silent cities of a world without humans, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And tell me, which city should we explore next?